Hey guys, hello and welcome, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to wire a dash cam into your car. The main reason you want to do this is pretty simple really. You're going to free up your power socket, there's going to be more of a deterrent to thieves, and you're going to get rid of this mess that's just all over the car. So we're going to be taking the car from this to this. So very quickly, let's go and have a look at the stuff we need to do the job. There's only a few simple things, and let's get started. Right, so we just have a few simple things. Really, the first thing is it's a piggyback fuse, because we're going to be taking this from the car's fuse box, and of course we need a suitable fuse. A 10 amp should be absolutely fine. The car's manual could be quite useful for seeing what fuses were taken out. A pair of pliers is needed. I've got some trim removal tools. If you don't have these, a screwdriver with a cloth is a crude way of doing it, but these are much kinder to the plastic, because we're going to be taking the A-pillar trim off. And then finally, this is the main thing we're going to be wiring in behind the dash. It's a 12 volt USB socket. So literally what we're going to be doing is taking our USB end of the dash cam cable, sticking it into here. This is going to be wired into the dash on an ignition light, so it comes on and off with when you get in and out of your car. And that's essentially how it all goes together. So in addition to the tools that I've shown you then, a multimeter may be required to find ignition live. Just check the video on my channel, there's one where you can find an ignition and permanent live, so that will show you everything you need to know for that. Before breaking out the multimeter, there's one simple test you can do to see if we have an ignition live. So essentially it's the car power socket down here. So take something like a phone charger, something that's got an LED or an indicator, stick it into the car's power socket. If it lights up with your keys not in ignition, you have a permanent live, which is not what we want for this build. But if it's like my car here, just take your key, stick it in, and you see that the power socket actually lights up. So I don't have to use a multimeter for this. I can actually just go into the car's manual, find the power socket fuse location on that, and I can piggyback off that one instead. Alright, so first thing we need to do is just find the location of the fuse box. Most cars have the internal fuse box behind the glove box, such as the case in my car. As you can see, mine's on the left hand side of the car, so it's going to determine which side we route the wires. We also need then, in this case, I'm going to look in the manual, I'm going to find the cigar lighter front auxiliary power points. That's the fuse we need, number 30, and I'm going to piggyback off that one. So this might be a little bit hard to see just because there's sun behind the window, but essentially what we're going to do is we're going to take this wire and then we're going to wrap it underneath the car's headliner. And we're going to get all the way to the A-pillar. I'm going to route the wire down here and then finally come over the side of the glove box and into the fuse box here. We're going to start from top to bottom, mainly because if you have any excess wire left over, we can tuck away underneath here out of sight. So taking this wire, I'm just firstly going to route it behind this little pod here. So I'm just going to pull it back gently with my hands and just route it behind there. Let's just keep it tucked out of the way. The next thing, we're going to get our trim removal tools, and these are much better than screwdrivers because they're soft, they're plastic, and when they make contact with plastic, they don't damage it and gouge big chunks out of it. So I'm just literally going to go underneath the edge of the headliner with a tool, pull it back a little bit. Actually in this car, the headliner's not on too good, so I can just pull it back with my fingers. So now we've reached the end of the headliner, we're actually going to remove this rubber weather strip along the edge of the door, give us a bit more access to the A-pillar. So these come off very easy, just grab them with your hands and just pull down. And it's just, see a release. And you see this groove now, we have good access to the A-pillar to remove this trim. So typically to get these A-pillars off, you might need a trim removal tool to get behind and lever it. And as you do it, just find where the most resistance is. Some bits will be looser, where it's most resistance will be a clip. Try and get behind and then give it, while you lever it, try and give it a quick sharp tug and you'll feel it. And eventually these little clips here should release from the A-pillar of the car. Now I'm not going to completely remove the A-pillar on this car because it's actually really thick and it's embedded behind the dash a little bit, so we're going to have a bit of trouble getting the plastic on properly if we do that, but we can just pull it back and we can get complete access to what we need. So we're going to again take the top of the headliner and then we're going to take a wire tuck it down along the side of the car. So if you see along here, these channels of wiring, so we're just going to tuck the wire into here and bring it down behind the side of the glove box. So just tucking them in nice and neatly. Keep these wires out of the way. So we can basically tuck the wiring down here, down the side of the glove box, and then if we look, you see this little cutout. We're going to bring the end of our USB cable up to the side and into the back of the glove box. Eventually, just pull all the excess wire through to the side, and then we can go back up to our A-pillar and we can start putting the interior of the car back together. So just find where the clips are, get a little bit of a fist, with a gentle tap. See the car start to go back together, there we go. And then finally, just get your door rubber, just gonna tap with your fist. And there we have all the wires tucked away. The only final thing is to do now is wire this into the fuse box, which is actually quite easy. So the next step I'm just going to do on a bench because it's a little bit easier to show you. So we're going to firstly take our piggyback fuse and we're going to insert our 2 fuses into the blade holder. So just push it down. One thing worth noting, if you're using the same amperage fuses, it doesn't really matter which way around you go because they're the same. If you're using a different one, for example 15 and a 10 amp, you need to take note of where this wire is coming out of the piggyback holder. This bottom fuse here, this one is going to be the original fuse. So if this was a 15 amp fuse in the car, the 15 amp would go here. And with the wires coming out to the top, this is going to be our new fuse, the one required for whatever job we're doing, so the 10 amp in this case. Just need to make sure they're the right way, otherwise you could end up blowing a fuse or not blowing a fuse, which could be a safety concern. Once we've put our fuses in here, then we just need to join these 2 wires together. So I'm just going to take a pair of pliers and cut the end off. And then we're going to strip a little bit of the wire off the end. Wire strip is obviously going to be better. I don't have any with me at the moment, so just gently pull and make do. And once you've just make sure don't cut through the wire and just get into the plastic, pull it apart. We should have our bare wire exposed. Just give it a bit of a twist to stop it from fraying, and just bend it back on itself to make it a little bit thicker. Then we're going to take the end of our piggyback fuse. And you can solder this if you want a better connection, or you can just crimp it like I'm going to here. And I'm going to get a pair of pliers. Again, crimping pliers are going to be better for the job, but you can still do it with normal pliers. And we're going to hold it in, push down, and when it's done, I'm going to give a bit of a tug, make sure it doesn't come out, that's nice and secure. And now we can stick this in the car. Coming back out to the car, I've actually noticed one problem with what I'm trying to do is, with this 20 amp here, this is the actual power socket for the car, and it's not a normal blade fuse. Like always, there's little problems when you run into it, but it's not going to be a big problem. We take our multimeter and check out the video again in the link in here. We're going to source an ignition live, which I've deemed to come from up here. We'll take our piggyback fuse, slot onto the holder, and now we've got a live, ignition live go into the power socket. Next thing we need to do, it's much simpler, is we need to actually find a good earth point. All you need to do for this is find a piece of bare metal, so make sure it's bare and not painted, and we're just going to connect this to it. And I found actually directly just on the Fiestas up here, this little bolt. You can just back this off, stick the ring over the end, and we're good to go. Back off our fingers. And stick the nuts back on. Next thing to do is going to get our USB socket, and we're just going to connect the 2 wires we have to the end. So just take note on the back of the way around these symbols are. Negative is the minus sign, also known as earth. Positive is the live. So we're going to put the red one to the positive, and we're going to put the black one to the negative. Just slide the spade over the end. Same again. And when we turn the ignition on, we see the light should come on. There we go. I'm going to take the keys back out. There we go, and the LED's gone out. So we have ignition live. And the very final step of this installation is to take the power cable from our dash cam and stick it directly into our USB socket. The 1 amp should be enough. I'm going to save 2.1 amps if ever need to charge your phone from it. I'm just going to tuck all the wires away behind the dashboard. Making sure everything's out of the way of the glove box when it shuts. Okay, I'm on final test, so it should come on now. Once you turn the ignition on, the dash cam should power up. There we go. Power. And that is literally how we install a dash cam in a car. So thanks for watching, guys. If this video has been useful to you, be sure to hit the like, leave a comment in the section below, and really consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Take care.